Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Mortgage Coach Tuesday call. My name is Dave Savage, CEO of Mortgage Coach, and every Tuesday I'm interviewing someone amazing. I try to make it so that 60% of the time it's a top producer who's actually closing loans, killing it in today's market, and 30 to 40% of the time I'm bringing in a speaker, leader, author, and sometimes I'm fortunate enough to be able to call that person a good personal friend. Today we've got Mr. Daniel Harkavy. Daniel, welcome to the Mortgage Coach call, brother.
It is good to be with you, buddy. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly.
Most excellent. It's great to be with you and your community, man.
Well, our community loves you, man. I posted a reminder about this call on Facebook, got a lot of likes, had some text messages of questions to ask you, and everybody's super fired up. So folks, everybody on this call, you're either among the nation's most successful, most productive loan officers, or you're dedicated to becoming that top 1% in the country. Super proud of the fact that 34% of the nation's top 1% mortgage professionals use Mortgage Coach. So everybody on this call, our goal every time we bring leadership is to help you bring more leadership to the families that you serve and to the partners that you serve. Last week, I reminded everybody, and I gave everybody a heads up, that we have updated our support page. So when you go to Mortgage Coach and you go to the support page, we're making it easier for you to get your questions answered with less friction. So this is not just a support page. This is for teaching, training, helping you go to the next level with Mortgage Coach. Also wanted to give everybody a heads up that one of Building Champions coaches, Bill Hart, who creates a video where he interviews top real estate agents, we've got a new one that we're releasing today. So you guys are going to get an early release of this before we even post it in Rate Watch. But I'm gonna put a link to this video at some point in the call when I'm not talking and Daniel is in our chat. So stay tuned and be ready to grab that. Now the inspiration for today's call, I think most of you know who Daniel Harkavy is, although Daniel, maybe when you start talking you might want to share a little bit of your backstory and the perspective you come with. But I just feel like Daniel's been on so many Mortgage Coach calls and he's such a fabric of the mortgage industry that everybody knows who you are. But the inspiration was in the last call that we did together when he was talking about his new book, he talked about his next book that he's working on, and he talked about these 6 perspectives on leadership. And I wanted to go deep on a personal level. I wanted to hear the story, and 2, I thought everybody else would love to hear it too. So Daniel, are you almost ready to rock it out?
I'm ready, buddy. I am ready.
All right. Well, I will hand off the baton in 1 minute. I do want to remind everybody, if you missed last week's call with Phil Black, former Navy SEAL, it was all about grit. And I loved Phil's definition of grit. Well, I've heard a lot of different definitions, and I think we all, what is grit to us? I thought this definition, the uncommon ability to endure inevitable failures and adversity over time to success in a mission bigger than yourself, to have success. So loved his definition. I want to remind you guys, if you didn't watch that call, I recommend that you do. But most importantly, just what is grit to you, and how do you rate? How, do you feel like you are really gritty right now, or do you feel like you need to get a little grittier in how you're delivering your day-to-day business? So with that said, Daniel, looking forward to having you deliver leadership. By the way, how's everything going with the book, Living Forward? If you wouldn't mind giving just a quick update on that before we get into today's topic.
I'd love to share. It's been exciting. So often I think we have a great message, but what makes a book really sing is a great partnership. So writing it with my longtime client and friend and really an icon in the publishing industry being Michael Hyatt, it just taught me a lot. So for me, writing the book was definitely an outpouring of something that I'm incredibly passionate about, which is helping people to live more intentional lives. And the reason that I think it's really appropriate for the business audience is because I always believe that self-leadership precedes team leadership. How we lead ourselves impacts every aspect of how we lead others. And Living Forward, I think, is a book that can help anybody from our teenage kids all the way up through those that are working through kind of that final succession of retiring and then moving into that next chapter of their life. So We're getting a lot of reviews. The book's made the bestseller lists, everything from USA Today to Wall Street Journal and Publishers Weekly, and that's all kind of fun stuff. But what I'm excited about most is that it continues almost on a bi-weekly basis to get licensed in different countries. So yesterday I got the notice that China is going to be having the opportunity to benefit from Living Forward. A week and a half ago it was Italy, and I think we're up to 12 different languages in the last 7 months. So pretty cool. I'm excited about it. Super grateful for the opportunity to get it out there. Thanks for asking.
I love the message, loved the book, and obviously folks loved the recording of the last call we did. It had been viewed over 1,200 times, so that was a video that added a lot of value to the mortgage industry. So thank you, my friend. Well, if you wouldn't mind giving us a peek into your newest book and walk us through your 6 perspectives on leadership. Really looking forward to the message.
All right. Well, folks, I'm excited to share this with you. We are celebrating 20 years of being in business this year. And what you see in front of you, the 6 perspectives of a leader, is my take on leadership. And for those of you who have journeyed with me over the last few decades, you know that I have a real passion for taking what's complex and trying to make it simple. That's my happy place. So the 6 perspectives of a leader, I think, is it's a construct, it's a model, and that can really help all leaders to improve how they lead. And I want to speak to all of you on the call, because if you're an originator without a team, I still think there's a lot of relevance to the 6 perspectives, and as I unpack it for you, I think it's going to help you to be a better business person as you build your mortgage practice. So whether you're an originator with nobody on your team, or whether you're the CEO of one of the largest mortgage banking firms in the nation, this talk should help you to improve how you lead. Dave, you asked me maybe for me to give a little of my background, because I don't want to assume that everybody knows who I am. I've been at this for a long time, but we coach in so many different industries today. But I do want everybody to know that I started as an originator in 1985. I loved originating loans. But really what I loved was in 1987 when I was promoted to the role of branch manager. And that's where I really started coaching. I started recruiting and coaching top performers who had the ability to accomplish far more than I ever did. And I started to build teams. And a few years later I had the opportunity to run production for at the time a small privately held company. Later we brought it public back in the early 90s. And I did that all the way through 95. So 85 to 95 I was doing everything from originating loans to leading the entire production for an organization throughout the western United States. So, I still know how to put together an FHA loan. But the last 20 years have been really focused on helping leaders to improve how they live and how they lead so they can be more successful in their businesses and their lives. So there's the background. Let's rock and roll with the 6 perspectives of a leader. I'm going to share it this way. I believe that our leadership effectiveness will be determined by 2 things, okay? 2 things. How successful we are as leaders is all dependent upon the quality and the speed of the decisions we make, as well as the influence we have. I can get into a conversation with any of you on every aspect of leadership. And what I've been doing with some of the largest organizations, not only in America, but now in the world, I've been working with CEOs, executive teams, all the way through the hundreds and hundreds of managers in their teams who are now our clients, and just testing this premise. And it stands true. Your leadership effectiveness will be determined by the decisions you make and the influence you have. The decisions you make and the influence you have are all determined by your perspective. How do you see things? How do you see the world? How do you see your business? How do you see your customer? How do you see opportunity? How do you see every aspect of your surrounding? How do you see your role and who you are in the company, in the life of the customer? Our perspective on everything impacts the quality of the decisions we make and the influence that we have. There's all sorts of wicked smart leaders who make the best decisions, but they're so disconnected from people on their teams. They don't have high levels of emotional intelligence. They don't have any charisma. They don't have courage. They don't have the ability to be present. And as a result of that, they lack influence. And then on the converse, there's all sorts of really magnetic, charismatic, vision-oriented people who are warm, they're present when they communicate, they have a ton of friends. They influence, influence, and influence. But they are not making the decisions they need to be making. Therefore, they're not engaging the heads and the hearts of those on their team. They're lacking followership. People love them, but they're not following them. So, our perspective, it impacts the decisions we make, it impacts the influence we have. Those two pillars set the foundation for our leadership effectiveness. Now here's the thing. All of us have a natural bent to how we see the business. We see the business from certain perspectives, but I'm going to tell you in the moments ahead we need to expand how we see our business. But before we do, I want you to understand why this is so important. So a quick little model. Our thinking is really important. How we think, what we put into our mind, what kind of inputs we're placing into our mind, and then the discipline of our thinking, it really matters. Because with our thinking, we start to impact our beliefs. When we combine our thinking and our beliefs, our core convictions, that starts to impact our emotions and our feelings. Not how just we feel internally, but how we feel to others. Folks, this connects to decision making and influence, so stay with me. Our thinking, our beliefs, and our feelings impact our relationships. In business, we know business is relationships. How we engage with one another, how we engage with our teammates, how we engage with our customers. It all rests down on that foundation of our thinking. Our thinking, our beliefs, our feelings, our relationships impact our actions. The actions we take each and every day, all of the little decisions to do this, to say this, to listen to this, to go there, to make this investment, to not make this investment, to say this, to not say this. Actions that are spontaneous and then actions that are habits. Our thinking, our beliefs, our feelings, our relationships impact our actions, which then ultimately impact the results that we get. Now here's the thing. So many of you want different results. I do too. I want to improve the results I get in business and in life. All of us do. We were designed to continue to improve. So oftentimes, as an executive coaching company, what will happen is clients will come to us and they'll say, help me to improve my actions because I want better results. And they want to stay up here on the top of this pyramid. But without real outside insight, without a skilled guide to help you move through, oftentimes you won't get to the levels of depth down to, okay, how are you working in relationship? You're not using 360s for real decision-making and influence improvement. You're not tapping into your beliefs and really the convictions that are in you with regards to where you're going in conviction, in vision. You don't have the courage that you need. And all of it stems from this foundation of thinking. And are you disciplined in thinking well? Not just thinking, but thinking well. And how do you know if you're thinking well? What's your strategy for improving your thinking? What's your commitment and your discipline to improving your thinking through what you're listening to, what you're reading, who you're talking to, what challenging individuals are in your life to stretch your thinking? There's so many of us that are walking around thinking that our thinking is really, really solid. But we all have room to improve. Now this is what I want you to see. Your thinking, it impacts everything on your way up. It impacts your beliefs, your feelings, your relationships, your actions, and your results. But it doesn't stop there, because the results we get impacts our actions. You know, if we're not getting great results, it can impact our relationships if we start acting poorly. If our relationships, if somebody lets us down, if somebody doesn't perform, if somebody doesn't follow through with a commitment, that impacts our feelings, which then can impact our feelings, about our beliefs, about ourselves and about one another, and then that can cause us to have stinking thinking. So Action plan number 1, as we are wrapping up 2016, I'm going to ask you, what's your commitment to truly assessing your thinking between now and the end of the year? Do you have a day carved out to just think about your business and your life? For those of you who are clients of ours, you know between now and really the holidays, late December, we're going to challenge you to take a full day to just think about where you're at, what's working well, what's not working well, where do you want to go, what habits or strategies do you need to execute on in 2017 so that 2017 is even better than 2016. 6 perspectives of a leader. Let's jump into them. Perspective is everything. So here they are in an overview. I'll unpack them real quick, and then Dave, you and I can engage and do some Q&A on it and allow your community to engage as well. We'll make it very interactive because I think that will help all of those who are with us.
Yeah,
So
real quick, Daniel.
Yeah.
So a couple things, a few questions have come in about the slides. So everyone, the slides, Daniel has made them available. You can download those from our handout section. So FYI, slides are available for a PDF download right now. And we are absolutely going to have time for questions. So please submit questions through the question part. Also, I have been adding, you said a quote that I just thought was so powerful. I wanted to make sure everyone didn't forget it. And so I'm posting some quotes and takeaways. And if you have some things you want me to post while Daniel's sharing, share it in questions and we'll get it out to everyone. So Daniel, rock us through the 6 perspectives.
Great. All right. So all of us see our businesses from different perspectives. You know, we might see our business from a few, but we don't see it usually from all. And I'm not going to say that there's only 6, but I am going to say that these 6 really matter. As a guy who has journeyed with so many leaders over the past few decades, I can tell you when I see an opportunity to help a leader to grow, it's usually helping them to gain a perspective that they're anemic in, they're weak in. It's maybe 1, 2, or 3. And I see that the best leaders who are making the best decisions, who have the most influence, have a discipline of making sure that their perspective's right so that their thinking's right. Perspective number 1 is current reality. Perspective number 2 is long-term vision. Perspective 3, strategic bets. Perspective 4, the team. Perspective 5, our customer. And perspective 6, the final one, your role. Let me unpack them one at a time. Current reality. There are all sorts of leaders who are so vision-oriented. They've been at it for a long time. You've been originating, managing, leading for a long time. And maybe over the years you've become a little distant from the real inner workings of the business. Maybe you don't understand the intricacies of how applications are taken, of the LOS, of maybe some of the legislation. In order to make the best decisions, you need to be firmly grounded in current reality. You need to know what's making the business happen today. Not just today, but what were the really historical markers that got you or the business to where it is today? So oftentimes companies will want to continue to change and evolve, and what they'll do is they'll go too far and they'll forget some of the historical markers that made their culture what it is. So current reality is not just where we're grounded today, but it's remembering what got us here. And then current reality and really seeing the business from current reality means that we need to go beyond just the walls of our company. What is happening economically? What are the pressures? What are the possible consequences of the election? What happens current reality as we head into 2017 and we wrap up 2016 in this 4th quarter? We need to be thinking about our business today and having conversations and putting data into our minds today so that we're making the best decisions today. Because when we understand current reality, when we understand how to do the business today, we make the best decisions, and as a result, result of making good decisions and knowing the business, the intricacies of it, we make it a lot easier for our teammates to follow us. So our influence grows. Now, on the converse, I've worked with leaders. They don't understand the mechanics of the business. They don't understand what's happening with the competition. Maybe they're newer leaders to the organization. They don't understand some of the history. Maybe they say, you know what, I'm not going to dive down into the minutia of the business. I've got people that do that. So they don't understand a lot of the mechanics. And when that happens, the decisions they make are usually not as good as they could be. And when the team sees that you're not firmly grounded in current reality, you start to lose influence, because what they say is, we really can't trust him. You know what? He doesn't get it. Yeah, he's visionary, he's exciting, and he's always talking about the next deal, but he really doesn't understand what's required in order to run the business today. Perspective number one, current reality. How are you putting information into your mind to make sure that you understand what it's like today in your business environment, to understand how the business is performing, how the team's performing, how it's going with the customer, all of it, all wraps up into this current reality. What kind of conversations are you having? What kind of questions are you asking? It always boils down to asking the best and the right questions. Perspective two, long-term vision.
Hey,
Leaders.
hey Daniel.
Yeah.
Daniel, before we jump off that last one, if you could, what are some just internal questions that a mortgage professional, or let's just say a branch manager, could and should ask themselves so that they understand, are they seeing things for how they really are? Any questions that they should ask themselves?
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, I can rattle a ton off. So originators, are you asking yourself questions about your conversion rates? What can you be doing to increase your conversion rates? Are you asking questions about the customer experience, and where are you nailing it with the customer? You can be asking yourselves the questions around what information do you need to be gathering each and every day in order for you to be making the best decisions. Branch managers and regionals and heads of production, in order to understand current reality, you need to understand the mechanics of performance. How are your originators performing? Average units funded per originator, average apps taken, conversion rate per originator, open desk space. What happens to your business if you increase production by adding 2 or 3 people who are talented into those open spaces in the office? You need to be asking yourself today, what are the consequences of the election? You need to be asking yourselves the question of looking at the industry and looking at your business over the last 3, 4, 5, 10 years, and what should you be expecting in Q1? What strategies should you be deploying in Q2? Current reality is really thinking about where we are and being completely present and making sure that we are as wise and knowledgeable in how we're running the business today as we could be. Dave, does that answer the question?
It does. And, first of all, I want to make sure everyone really heard that. You notice Daniel went right into conversion rate, because it is such an indicator as to how effective you are at winning trust, delivering value, and having influence. The higher the conversion rate, the more influence you have at the point of sale. And so measuring that is so important. I want to remind people one of the easiest ways that everybody could measure this, every branch manager could measure this, is just how many credit reports did you run versus how many loans did you fund. Now, of course, there's some loans that were non-fundable loans, but again, it's a great metric that not enough people measure. Obviously, there's folks that your loan officers got up to bat with that, they never ran a credit report. So, it's not a complete view of conversion, but it's shocking to me how many branch managers, how many regionals, how many heads of production don't measure that. And so the last thing I would say before you move on, Daniel, is if anybody is on this call, we've got a lot of great leaders on this call. If there is a question you're asking yourself that you think helps people understand where they stack up with reality, please share that with everyone. Let's bring some leadership from within. Keep it rocking, Daniel. I'll let you go on to the next one now.
All right. Well, before I jump into long-term vision, the thing that I will tell leaders around current reality is it's more than just the scorecard on a daily or weekly basis. But for many of you, you don't have the scorecard, which is where you need to start. You need to have a scorecard that tells you the key metrics that enable you to understand current reality. So there are all sorts of metrics, key performance indicators for our businesses that are not only lagging but are leading. They're telling us what's happening in our pipeline. And we need to know those numbers cold. Those will help us with current reality. Future state.
Well, I wanted to put a plug in for Motivity, one of our partners that, that's what they do. They help lenders measure key performance indicators. I guess some of you on the call probably work for a company that has Motivity. I would just urge you, do your part. Make sure you understand those reports, you're reviewing those reports, and you're providing leadership. You're leading up into the organization to make those reports more valuable for you. And for those of you that don't have a BI system like Motivity, it doesn't mean you can't measure those things. It just might be a little bit more manual. But great point, Daniel.
Good. Long-term vision is an opportunity for, I think, everybody on the call. And I'm going to ask you right now, is there something that you can pull out of your binder, your journal, your briefcase? Is there something you can open? You can open a file on your desktop, and right now you can read a vision that really defines with clarity what type of a business you're going to lead 5 years from now or 10 years from now. And when you pull that vision out, when you pull it onto your screen, you pull it out of your workbook, you pull it out of that file that you're regularly reviewing, it inspires you. It's got to be clear and it's got to be compelling. Leaders, if you don't have a vision that paints a picture, future state, of how your business is going to be better, how you're going to deliver with more excellence, how your team's going to be more engaged. If you don't have a vivid picture that you're regularly reviewing, you're regularly sharing, you're regularly reading, and if it's not clear enough to plan from, and if it's not compelling enough to cause you to take risk, you as a leader are missing an opportunity to have influence, and the decisions you're making are probably falling more into the management bucket than they are the leadership bucket. Don't miss this. If you don't have a clear and compelling vision that paints a picture for a brighter future in 2020 or 2025, if you're not reading something on a regular basis that you've written that is about your business, your team, your future, if it's not clear, if it's not compelling, then you're going to be making reactive decisions, management decisions. You're not going to be engaging in conversations about how people need to grow and develop, about strategies that need to be deployed to move you from current reality to a better future state. And I'm going to now say that I'm going to start picking on certain demographics, Dave, because if you're 40 or 50 or older, there's a chance that you're now into this season of life to where you're just wanting to build a fence around it. You're making great cash, the industry's been good to you, and right now, instead of playing to win, you're playing to not lose. You're building a fence around your business and you're just saying, oh man, I want to keep it here. If that's you, I'm going to tell you that your leadership influence is on the decline. It's happening now. Retention's going to be a problem. Performance per teammate's going to be a problem. Recruiting's going to be a problem. Because we can only retain and recruit and engage at an intellectual business mechanics level for so long. People want to belong to something special. We're trading in the majority of our waking hours for this business. And we were designed to continually improve. People love winning. And it's up to us as leaders to be painting a picture that we believe in that's causing us to first and foremost take risks and to stretch if we want to lead people that will cause them to get out of their comfort zone. Perspective number 2, long-term vision. Do you have it? Is it in writing? Is it clear? And is it compelling? Is it causing you to stretch, making your palms sweat and getting you excited to begin reinvesting in and taking risks to build a better business in the years ahead? If not, there's your opportunity. Perspective number 3, strategic bets. When we see current reality, we're firmly grounded. We understand how to manage and lead the business today. And then we have long-term vision, that future state. We can see a better tomorrow. every single time will create an opportunity gap. That gap is from November 2016, here we are today, and what we see in 2020. Having a clear, compelling vision paints a picture of a better tomorrow. So what we need to do is we need to make some strategic bets to close the gap from where we are in 2016 to where we want to become, who we want to be in 2020 or 2025. We can't just run the business reactively, responding to economic ups and downs and legislative changes. We can't just operate on the defense, reacting, if we're going to really lead. So we have to make strategic bets. We call them strategic bets because when you have vision, you can now deploy strategy. When you have vision and you understand current reality, now your strategy is firmly grounded. Why are they bets? Because there's no guarantee. You're gonna run some plays and there's not a guarantee that they're going to pay off. You know, I think of some of you folks out there, our clients, who have made some strategic bets that have paid off wildly. You know, Josh Metal, I know Josh has been with you before, Dave, I believe. Josh is a fantastic client. Josh made a big strategic bet to go after physicians. Totally changed his business to become the guy for physicians. I think of Louise Thaxton. Louise, an awesome gal. Louise, out of a vision to serve those who have served our country, the military, she makes a strategic bet. That strategic bet is we are going to do everything for veterans. And she becomes the real advocate for veterans and builds a whole business around that strategic bet. Did she know when she started that that would pay off? Did she know that it would completely and radically influence how Fairway operates? I don't think so. But she had a vision that was clear and it was compelling, and then she deployed those strategic bets. I could go on and talk about the Joshes and the Louises who have made strategic bets because they were firmly grounded in current reality. They had a vision that inspired them, and they then made the investments and the changes to their business to close the gap from where they were to where they are today. Strategic bets, they're always resourced. They require an investment. They always have leadership. There's a leader for the strategic bet. They usually have a team. That team can be internal as well as you can have some third-party partners. They have specific time frames. They have gates to measure how they're progressing because strategic bets are usually not accomplished within inside of 12 months. Usually strategic bets are a little more Herculean and they'll require energy and effort for 14, 16, 18, 24 months, sometimes 3 years depending upon the industry. They're strategic and they're a bet. And when they pay off, they change current reality for you and they move you to that future state so you become who you see you're going to become as an organization in your long-term vision. The team.
Daniel, real quick, before we go off of strategic bets, because I think it's so powerful, and you gave two amazing examples. Both of those professionals I have interviewed, and great calls if you want to drill down on either one of them. So community, first I reach out to everybody on this call. If you've made a strategic bet that has panned out for you, please share that in Q&A. I would love to collect the various strategic bets that have paid off. And then for those of you that you haven't made a strategic bet, you need to make one. And Daniel did a nice job of wrapping a bow around what it is. It's something that takes more than a year, something that's got documented milestones. So first of all, any other strategic bets paid off, please share them with the community. I think almost for sure, Daniel, we're going to have a few more questions around that. We'll get to it when we get to the Q&A, but I would love some more inspiration from everybody on the call with some other examples.
All right, well, I'm halfway through my slides, buddy, and I'm going to try to go as fast as I can because I want that Q&A. I want to be able to coach these folks however I can. So here we go. The team. This is a perspective, leaders, where a lot of us are anemic. We think we know how the team thinks about doing their job and what it is that they do when we do what we do. The team does the work. And oftentimes we leaders are not asking the right questions of our teammates to understand the business from their perspective. If we don't understand the business from their perspective, the decisions we make and the influence we have is both at risk. So we have to have a discipline of connecting with the team, and not just, hey, how was your weekend, but hey, how's it going in your job? What's going well? What do you see as being a potential fix to this challenge? Where do you think we can improve? Hey, what do we need to keep doing, start doing, and stop doing in order to be the company that we see we're going to be in that vision? Get the team's perspective. Now you start to engage the heads and the hearts. Now you start to add really good thinking. And the more that we engage the heads and the hearts of those that we lead, the more in alignment, the more switched on, and the more passionate our team's going to be about becoming themselves who they need to become in order for us to be the company that we see we're going to be when we look at our long-term vision. So you can't be out there just sharing vision and deploying strategic bets without engaging the heads and the hearts of the team. And oftentimes when we're working with leaders, we've got leaders who are living in these bubbles thinking that, you know, they understand what the team sees and what the team thinks, but they don't. And that's where we as a coaching company oftentimes will close gaps. We'll sit down and we'll work with the executive, we'll work with their leadership team, and we'll help them to better align. Because once they're aligned, they can then start to focus on expanding boundaries, pushing territory out, which, Dave, is another call that I should do for you guys. If you want me to do taking ground for your leadership tribe, taking ground is a fantastic constructor model that I would love to share. It's something that we do with executive teams in all sorts of industries around the world.
Let's put it on the calendar, my friend.
All right. So the team, what's your discipline with connecting with people and really asking them the questions that arm you with the information that you have so that you can make better decisions and grow and influence? It's really important. Perspective number 5, the customer. Again, an opportunity for many of us to improve upon. Many people think they see the business from the customer's perspective because they're using SurveyMonkey. And I'm going to say that that's good, but that's not great. You know, you look at some sort of a surveying system that was created somewhere in your department, and you're looking at reports today that are giving you response or data or input from the last quarter. That will not arm you with how the customer is engaging with you and your product or your service today. The best leaders have a discipline of talking to customers. And you need to be talking to customers. Now, originators, you're talking to customers all day long. But are you asking them the questions that will enable you to improve doing what you do, how you do it? One really simple model that I shared just moments earlier, I'll share again. And you could just ask your customers in a phone call from you, whether you're the CEO or whether you're an originator. You're calling customers, those that engage with your service, and you're asking them, what can we keep doing, start doing, and stop doing, KISS, in order to better serve you on future transactions? The best leaders, they have a discipline of speaking to the customer and asking those types of questions because you need to understand how you serve your customers and what it's like to do business with you. You need to be asking your customers about their vision. For all of you who are doing business with realtors, financial planners, with insurance agents, you need to understand where they're headed. Now, I know a lot of you right now are going, oh yeah, Harkavy, I've got this. Really? Do you? Do you know the business plans of your referral partners? Do you know, beyond the shadow of a doubt, if you look at your 10 referral partners, you've got Sandy, you've got Jack, you've got Jake, you've got John, you've got all of these different people. And do you have a file for each and every one of them to where you know what kind of a business they're trying to build? Do you know where they're struggling? Are you sitting down with their teammates and really being that coaching leader that I talk about in becoming a coaching leader? That might be your opportunity in the year ahead. To be more valuable to your customer by better understanding your customer. When you better understand your customer's perspective, the decisions you make and the influence you grow that you have grows. The final perspective. This is the perspective, number 6, your role. If you don't see your business from the previous 5 perspectives, then chances are you're going to be filling your day with a whole bunch of activities that are going to keep you right where you're at. They're not going to be causing you the disciplines, the actions, the projects, the improvements. They're not going to be propelling you in your role to that place that your future business says the leader of this business is going to need to be. So are you growing yourself and improving how you do what you do so that you're not only the best leader today, but you're moving towards becoming the best leader for the business that you see in 2020 or 2025? The giveaway that I've got for all of you is a very straightforward tool. It's business planning time, people. It is the fourth quarter. We are Thanksgiving time, Christmas, Hanukkah, and New Year's. It's now. What's the plan for next year? I told you earlier I love taking the complex and making it simple. And in recent years I've come to understand why it works. There's all sorts of brain science behind the simplicity of execution. So this simple business plan has three things. It has outcomes or goals, it has disciplines, and it has projects. It's a one-page plan. Do it for 2017, then do it, a separate one for the first quarter. If you do this and you review it on a regular basis, you will improve. Now, goals or outcomes, these are things that you're shooting for. They're numeric. You can measure them. It's share of customer. It's average units funded per originator. It's market share. It's, we could go on and on. It's units funded. It's conversion ratio. These are things that are not your reality today. They're outcomes or goals that you want to shoot for. Then you've got these disciplines around this wheel. And these disciplines are the high payoff activities that if you just did these things each and every day, each and every week, you would truly be more successful in the years ahead than you are today. The problem is that you're doing 20 things in a day. You're not doing just the 6. So what are the 6? And I'm not saying there's only 6, nor am I saying there has to be 6. But the truth of the matter is, if you were to take your annual income and just say you have an income goal of $500,000, you need to be tracking your time and then measuring all of the activities against the $250 an hour that are required in order to make $500,000 a year. And you have to ask yourself, do these activities that I'm filling my day with, do they warrant $250 an hour? Or could I be delegating, training up, or paying others so that I could stop doing these things and I could do more of the high payoff things? What are those non-negotiable disciplines? They're very specific, and one of them is going to be thinking time or on time. 2 hours, 4 hours, 6 hours of thinking time every single week. The best leaders have a discipline of thinking. One of those disciplines is going to be talking to your teammates, and there's going to be a set time. It's going to be one-on-ones, or it's going to be walking the floor, or it's going to be monthly interviews. There's going to be a discipline of you talking to your customers. You're going to be talking to 3 a week, 5 a week, 2 lunches a week. What is it that you're going to make your way? The best leaders have a rhythm. They do the same things over and over and over and over again, always improving, always adjusting, but they're just disciplines. What's that middle circle, that theme or that focus? I like to put a mantra there, a reminder there, something that helps to inspire me and reminds me of what I'm focusing on in the quarter ahead or the year ahead. Maybe the word is growth. Maybe the words are be present. Maybe the words are take risks. Maybe the words are slow down. I don't know. And then the final element to this one-page construct, the one-page business plan, are improvements or projects. What projects or improvements do you want to make to the business in 2017 or in the quarter ahead? It's going to be, the improvement is going to be to master Mortgage Coach by December 15th. Right now you're using it at about 40%, 50% of its true capacity. I had a call from Matt Eckert. Matt, I hope you're on the line. You're a stud. Matt gave me a call and he just said, hey, Harkavy, I want to talk to you about refinancing. And he used Mortgage Coach, and he sent me over a video, and he showed me some side-by-side comparisons. He made it so easy, so educational, so professional. Here I am as a user, an ex-mortgage guy, and I'm sitting there going, all right, this kicks butt. Well done, Mr. Savage. It's killer. I think there's all sorts of you folks out there who can maximize it. So maybe that's the improvement or the project that you need to deploy by a specific date. Maybe you have a project or an improvement and you're working on, the project is creating the recruiting campaign for your branch, and you want to have that recruiting campaign and strategy done by December 15th, or you want to get it done by March 7th, or whatever the date is, you put it down there. Put those projects or improvements down with the target date, and then ask yourself the question, how much time will be required in order for me to get it done by that date? And then schedule the time in between now and then, 3 hours here, 5 hours there, 2 days there. Schedule the time in as if it were a high payoff appointment so you can actually get it done. All right, this tool is here for you, and I would encourage all of you to take it and to use it. This one-page plan, I have leaders of global international organizations, huge, 140,000 employees. Their whole management team are using these one-page plans. And then I've got individuals who own little companies. They got 4, 5, 6 people on the team, and they're all using these one-page plans. I use the one-page plan. My executive team uses the one-page plan. Our coaches do. Our leaders do. Use the one-page plan. Download it at www.buildingchampions.com, tools. It'll be there for you guys to take. Take it, use it. And then I'll make an offer to some of you as we move forward. Real quick recap, because I want Q&A. Those 6 perspectives of a leader, you nail those things, the decisions you make, the influence you have, it's going to improve. You've got better perspective. You're making better decisions. You got more influence. You're going to be a better leader. All right? Dave, I'm going to fly here and just make the offer, and then let's do Q&A. Mortgage Coach members, I can't give all of you a complimentary coaching session. I so wish I could. I can't. But for those of you who want to get after it and you really want to grow, I'm going to say we'll give you 10 coaching sessions gratis, our gift to Mortgage Coach. If you get me that one-page business plan, you send it to info@buildingchampions. I'll have one of our coaches sit down with you via the phone. They'll walk you through that plan. They'll make sure it's crisp. They'll help you to make sure you have the discipline to carry it forward. We'll do that for you. All right? Dave, it looks like you've got control of the screen now. Is that right?
Yeah, I kept the offer up, but folks, this is huge. I mean, the amount of time that the Building Champions team has put in to add value to the Mortgage Coach community. They've given you a great downloadable planning tool, which we did put a link in the GoToMeeting control panel. So there's a link. We made it easy for you. You don't even need to remember it. And then to actually take the time to collect these, review these. Let's face it, for a coach to take a meeting like this, they put a lot of preparation into it. This is something extraordinarily valuable. So I hope that many of you Mortgage Coach members will take up the Building Champions team and have your business plan reviewed and get a 30-minute coaching session. So Daniel, you ready for some Q&A? We have got some questions that have come in. Are you ready to rock?
Can you put that final slide back up just to learn more about Building Champions, or do you want to do that after? Where do you want to do that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had it up. Go ahead, Daniel. I just put it on the screen.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So
speak to it.
I'll go ahead and stay on Q&A as long as you want. People, there's 3 things I want you to know about. One-on-one coaching. We've been doing this for 20 years, and we'll help you to improve your thinking, your habits, your behaviors, so you get better results. We'll improve your focus so that you're more successful in business and in life. The Masters Coach program, I think 2017 is going to be the biggest and the best Masters Coach group we've ever had. This is a mortgage industry leadership program. Leadership, all right? Heavy focus on leadership. We get together 4 times, plus we do one-on-one coaching. Got a killer expert team of coaches that work the Masters Coach. I show up to that event every quarter. We've been running this thing for about 18 years, and it's fantastic. It's for a group of around 40 people or so, and we will accept a few more into that program. And then the experience. It's ridiculous for me to be plugging this now, but we take 225 people, 4 days, through a truly transformational coaching experience in Sun River. Check it out. It's next September, and it will be our 10th experience, and it's going to be awesome. All right, Q&A. Let's go.
All right. Well, that was awesome, Daniel. And we've gotten a lot of great feedback, so I would be remiss. Anita Kane just said, thank you. This is one of the best I've heard on addressing leadership. So,
Thank
Daniel, you knocked it out of the park.
Awesome.
Want to remind everybody, Building Champions is buildingchampions.com, so make sure you check it out if you're not familiar with that. So let's get into the first question. And then I also want to recap a few things. So we'll do this one question, I'll recap a few things, and then we'll close with one more question or two. So this question came in from Mike Lynch. He said, is a strategic bet similar to a unique selling proposition? If not, how is it different?
Mike Lynch, man, I miss you, buddy. Great to hear your name. A strategic bet's different. Your unique selling proposition, your USP is truly what's going to differentiate you. And I could see why you even asked that question, because I shared those two examples where Louise and Josh made strategic bets, and I think those strategic bets became their USP. I think they became it. So there's a chance that could happen. A strategic bet for some of you could be, depending upon your role, I think a strategic bet could be to open a new region, and all of a sudden you're going to open offices through this quadrant of the United States. A strategic bet could be you're going to go ahead and create a new partnership. A strategic bet could be that you're going to really begin utilizing social media, and you're going to make a significant investment in social media marketing or advertising. Those are all going to be strategic bets. And maybe they do become a USP. I've never thought about that, Mike, but it's possible.
Yeah, by the way, Ryan Moreau also put in that 6 years ago he made the move from loan officer to producing manager. It was a big bet. It has really paid off. So yeah. Those of you on this call, a strategic bet could be a lot of things. I think Daniel's point is that it's something that doesn't happen quickly. I mean, it's a big bet. It takes time. It takes dedication. And it has the potential to change your story in this business. It's a big bet. And if anybody else has another bet that you want to share, bring it on. We'd love to hear it. So Daniel, I mean, there's a lot of takeaways I got. I don't know that there was one that's more defining, more valuable than just seeing this, how you've put a picture to this. What is effective leadership? I love this quote. I wrote it down. Effective leadership, our leadership effectiveness will be determined by the speed and quality of our decisions and the influence we have. So Daniel, let's talk about speed real quick. I mean, what is a healthy speed? How do we know? I mean, I think quality decisions are that plays out. You can always look back and go, that was a quality decision. I don't know that the audience needs a lot of help with that one, but speed. What is effective speed when it comes to making decisions?
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that, Dave. All I know is that I think there's a whole bunch of people that because they don't have a clear and compelling vision, they're not making strategic bets and making the decision to deploy those when they could. And it's because they don't have the confidence. And if you just think about this, the way that we humans are wired, we get to a level of comfort to where we know we've got food on the table, a roof over the head, we've got some vacation set and the 401k is working. What will happen is we will naturally begin to become more defensive with our posture than offensive. When we started in our career and we had holes in the bottoms of our shoes and we weren't enjoying the fine wines and whatever it may be, we were so much more offensive because there was hunger. And to replace the hunger of survival, we need the hunger of vision. And that's the role it plays, vision plays for us as leaders. It continues to force us to grow. So when you've got that, you've got a clear and compelling vision that causes you to get excited, that causes you to want to take risks, you'll see yourself making decisions faster. Now, not haphazardly. They're strategic because they're birthed out of current reality and future state. You have the perspective of teammates and the input of customers. You really know what's happening. You understand the economic changes, legislative changes, competitive threats. You get that. So now you make decisions as fast as you can to move you from current reality to future state. That's the game.
Love it. Love it. Well, I want to share a few more thoughts. We will get to at least one more question, maybe two. Do want to
Okay.
remind folks that this realtor interview that Bill Hart did has been released. I did put a link to that in the Go to Meeting Control panel, and if you're listening to the video, it'll be in the description in our YouTube channel, which, by the way, we did have a couple of questions come in. These calls are always recorded every single Tuesday. Every Tuesday they're available in our YouTube channel, and I do recommend that you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get an alert when that comes out. Also, when I think of one of the things that we focus on a lot here, Daniel, I would say every time someone comes into our community as a mortgage coach, we start with why. What is your mortgage why? Describe in a sentence or two, why are you a mortgage professional? And then we push them and strive to, what's your mortgage coach why? And usually it kind of fits into two camps, Daniel. Either one, they're doing it, it's my competitive differentiator. I want to be the best, I want to have a great conversion rate, and it's just all about this competitive advantage theme. And then the other theme that we see constantly is I'm a teacher. I love to educate people, I love to help people make an informed decision, and their mortgage coach why is all, there's this theme around a teacher is the best salesperson and I'm a teacher. So I don't know, Daniel, what are some thoughts you have on just how important is it to get clear on your why as a mortgage professional? And you gave some examples of strategic bets. Do you have any examples of loan officers that have just crushed it in terms of getting clear on their why?
I 30 years now in mortgage banking, always working with the best of the best. I think I'm going to answer that question, but maybe a little differently. I like that guy. Yeah, that's a good client. So here's what I see with the why behind the best of the best. The industry you can make so much money in. It's exciting. There's a lot to learn. It keeps you nimble. All of those things are real. And a lot of people get into the business just purely for the economic upside. The best of the best, year over year, their why always has to do with helping people. And I hope you guys don't miss this. I mean, this requires head and heart. You've got to get excited about helping people with what most of the time is the largest financial decision they'll ever make in their life. The decision is usually as emotionally charged as is a wedding. The decision is researched. The decision has to do with more than just a product. It has to do with home. It has to do, Coach Todd, it has to do with where memories are going to be made, and it has to do with how they're going to retire. And for the best of the best, they just get excited about helping as many people as possible to make better decisions so that they live a better quality of life. That's why I love mortgage banking. I mean, what you guys and gals do, it really matters. So maybe between now and the end of the year, you'll get really clear on your why. Take some time to think about it, because it's a hard business and it can knock the snot out of you, no doubt about it. But you've got to keep the passion there, and you have to remember why you do it. And if you do, and it comes from within, you really love helping people, well, then you'll continue to do the uncomfortable things, learning, growing, changing, adapting, getting outside input. You'll remain humble and pliable. There's two words I would have for all of you: humble and hungry. If you can stay humble enough to be open and to learn, and hungry enough to learn at a pretty fast pace, you can keep growing and make this thing a wonderful career.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And folks, I've been showing some pictures, of folks that are common customers of Daniel and I.
I love it.
Kelly Zitlow has one of the most powerful mortgage whys I've ever heard. Jay Crowell, great loan officer out of Seattle. And then, of course, here's Mr. Todd Booksbag. He has become such a great coach. He's left, an incredibly lucrative opportunity as a branch manager and one of the best mortgage professionals that's ever lived, and a full-time coach for Building Champions. So hopefully this call has really impacted you guys. Hopefully you'll listen to the recording. As I mentioned, every call we do is posted in our YouTube channel. please make sure you go in there, share this, re-listen to this, and subscribe so that you get alerts as we go. Also, next week I'm going to be interviewing Tammy Butler. Really neat perspective. I mean, I don't know how well you know Tammy, Daniel, but she's been a trainer for decades in the mortgage industry. She was head of compliance services at Optimal Blue. And so this concept of how to sell and be compliant, how to position yourself for the future, it's going to be a great call. I want to remind folks, every single Wednesday, we are doing mobile training. We're helping you become a master at using your mobile device as not just a salesperson, but as Daniel said, to help families make more informed decisions. That's, at the end of the day, what we do. We create mobile apps that help loan officers be smarter, look smarter, and help families make better decisions. So, Daniel, I don't know if you have any parting comments or thoughts, but we are at the top of the hour. Any last thoughts as we wrap up today's call?
Dave, just thank you. I always count it a privilege to be with you and your community. Folks, I'm always going to plug the opportunity for you to fight the drift of business and of life and to be more intentional and more present each and every day. I just have a passion to help our clients and anybody that I ever get to talk to, being you folks, to be the best version of you possible. And Living Forward is a straightforward life planning book that can help you. And please don't hear me pitching my book because I want to sell it. Please hear me pitching my book because it has radically helped me as a business leader. The model in it has helped me as a husband and as a father and as a steward of my health and my faith and every aspect of how I do life. And I'm a user of it, and it's helped me and thousands of others. And I would encourage you, if you haven't done it, make that, putting your life plan together, going through the Living Forward process, make that the one big thing you do between now and the end of the year, and you will best position yourself for 2017. Regardless of what comes our way, from a political, a country, a global perspective, we need to be positioned really well to make the best proactive and intentional decisions we can. All right?
Daniel, I'm grateful. You crushed it. The surveys came back, and again, everyone is completely wowed, and you surpassed expectations. So anytime people come to your call, they have high expectations, and you blew it out of the water. So grateful for the time you took to prepare and the lesson. And have a great day, brother. Let's get another one on the calendar.
Let's do it, buddy. Thank you. I'll see you soon. Happy holidays, all.
Take care, everybody.